Hey everyone, it's Nurse Danny, and we're coming to you on location at Primary Children's Medical Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'm here with Janet today, our community outreach manager here. And we want to talk about car seats today. This is a hot topic for lots of parents because maybe you're pregnant and you need to find a car seat for your newborn. Maybe you have kids that are outgrowing the car seat they're in and you want to know what stage they're going into next. What are the guidelines, requirements? We hope to answer all those questions for you today. So let's start at square one, picking an infant seat.
Right. You find out you're going to have another addition to your family, and making sure that everyone is transported safely from that very first ride is key. So the main thing is that you buy something that you can use every time properly, fits your child, fits your car, and that you know how to use. If you don't know how to use it,
you're probably not going to use it right. And what percentage of parents don't use car seats properly? It's pretty high.
Oh, probably 90 to 95% of parents make mistakes with car seats.
So if you're thinking you're doing it right, stay tuned because maybe you'll learn a few things. So when you talk about finding a car seat, a lot of times parents who are looking to save $1, especially when you're having your first baby, look to secondhand sources, maybe someone they know or to secondhand stores. There are some things that you should keep in mind if you're doing that, right?
Right. Using a secondhand seat can be okay if you know all the history of the car seat, if it hasn't been in a crash, if you have the instruction manual, if all the labels on the car seat are there. But if you're just going to go to a garage sale or something of that nature, that may not be the safest thing for your child, and there's nothing more precious than keeping that baby safe.
Exactly. The integrity of the material can be affected if they've been in a car accident or if they're expired. A lot of people don't know they expire, and that's something to keep in mind if you're having multiple children. Maybe on baby 3 or 4, you shouldn't be using the same seat you used for baby 1.
Exactly. We kind of think of it in terms of how many of us are using the same mobile phone today that we used 5 or 10 years
good
ago.
Analogy.
Because technology changes, they make improvements, and things wear out. So let's go for a good car seat. It doesn't have to be the most expensive car seat on the market, but something that you know how it works and it will work well for you and your family. They're all tested to meet the same standards. Just always use it.
Yeah, exactly. Always, always. No exceptions. Long road trips, moms are tempted to sit in the back seat and nurse their baby while they're in motion. Don't do it.
Never. You
don't know when an accident's going to happen. You should always be prepared.
Thank you.
So when you purchase a car seat, you're unwrapping everything and you just start tossing stuff. Don't toss the instruction manual or the owner's manual, right?
Yep. Don't throw the instruction manual away from your car seat. Don't throw the registration card away. Make sure you send that in so that if it's ever recalled, they will notify you.
That's important.
Read that from cover to cover. And then call a car seat technician if you need help. There are free car seat inspection stations all over the state. So call us for help and read your vehicle owner's manual, because that's going to tell you where is a good place in the car to put that seat and how to put it in and what are all the mechanics of using that vehicle with a car seat.
Yeah, because there's a couple of different components. There's the car seat and the car. So both of these together, that's what you need to make sure your kids are as safe as possible.
Sure.
So it's been a while since my kids were little, and even the mechanics of it all is still confusing to me looking back at it. So let's clarify a few things with infant seats. You have 2 ways to use an infant carrier. One is independent on its own. You can set it on the seat and buckle it in independently, or you can use the base with it. And this is helpful because you're probably going to install this in your car like we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yes.
But if you leave your kids with grandma or a babysitter and drive away with this in your car, they have the carrier but not the base. So it's still possible to install them properly in the car like this, right?
That's right. So in this scenario, we are going to use the seat belt to install the rear-facing seat. You're going to pull the seat belt out, and you're going to put only the lap portion across your belt path, and then we're going to buckle the seat belt and let the shoulder belt go back in the most direct path to this retractor. But we want to pull this out all the way, and now I put some weight into my seat, and I'm going to tighten that up. You want to be careful when you're putting your weight into the seat. You want this seat to be a nice reclined angle. We don't want it tipping way up.
That, right.
So we want to get it down here and put your weight back here. And now I'm going to tighten that up. And again, I want less than an inch movement side to side, forward and backward.
Okay. And then let's talk about the handle for a second, because some manufacturers approve it in some positions and not others. It's been crash tested and proven to be safe in certain positions. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so again, going back to that manual, knowing the importance of reading the manual and finding, can I have this up over the car seat when I'm traveling? And in most instances, manufacturers allow that nowadays. That's a big change. Have it up in most cases, but we don't want to dangle anything from there. Unless the manufacturer specifically says it's okay, it can be a threat to our children with toys going back and forth. If you're in a crash, the baby rises up just a little bit and the toy
swings into
their head. They're the first thing it hits.
We don't want it to be coming loose and having it get entangled. Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
So should we go to option?
Let's do.
Option 2 is if we want to use this with the base, we're simply going to uninstall, remove that, place the base on the vehicle seat.
And you have 2 options here too. You have the latch system or you have the seat belt, but not both, right?
Absolutely, one or the other. So I will go ahead and install this using the lower anchor on my side. Click.
Okay, and I'll click it on my side.
And now we're going to tighten that up. Just like we did the seat belt, we're now tightening the lower anchor, that latch strap. Again, putting some weight into it, and well, let's see, we have a little bit of movement.
We have some more give, and we'd like to tighten it again.
Give it some more.
Okay,
and
perfect.
Now we're nice and tight.
That's about right.
We're not worried about this moving out here so much, Danny. We just want it through the belt path, nice and tight, less than an inch movement, side to side, forward and
backward. Good to know. Some dads might think they have to bungee cord this portion into the car.
Yes, don't.
We want it to move a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay, so when the convenience factor is that you can just set this in, and it clicks. And you put your baby in, and then you can just unclick and go. Leave the base in your car, and it makes it easy.
Ready to go, other than getting that harness on right. But as far as installation, very good. For new babies, we want to make sure we have a nice reclined angle. About 45 degrees tilt back. But as children get older, a little more upright is fine.
And the reason why you don't want it to be like that is because their heads can slump forward and it can cut off their airway. So there's usually a little monitoring system on the side of the car seat that tells you what level your baby should be at, right?
Yep.
So that's another thing to pay attention to.
That's right. This one actually has a little plastic piece on the side, just a line that says it should be parallel with the ground.
Oh, that makes it easy.
Simple, but
Very
follow
easy.
those directions. That's important.
Yes. All right, we have a little buddy here today to help us demonstrate how to properly buckle a baby into the infant seat. There's a couple of things to consider, right?
Exactly.
So one is the height of the shoulder straps in relation to the shoulders.
We want the harness to come behind Maximus's shoulders. He's
he's not so sure about
He doesn't
us.
know us very well, so we're going to put that behind his shoulders, coming from behind and up over the top, and the retainer clip or chest clip right at his armpit level or his
That's really
tickle
important
level.
because you don't want it to do any damage to internal organs. You want it to be over the hard part of his
It's
chest,
okay,
right?
Max. And now we're going to do the crotch strap. This one, I think we have to do this together. This is kind of like a puzzle piece, Danny.
Yes,
you have to put
indeed
2
it is.
pieces together.
Oh, bud.
And we're going to stick that in there. Bring this up. Now, a lot of people want to know, how tight should I have this? And if I can pinch any webbing between my fingers, it's probably a little loose. So I'm going to come back here on this particular car seat. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, buddy.
And then, when we're going, we turn it around, rear facing, and it clips in. Ready to go, right? So our second stage is a convertible seat, and it can be used rear facing or forward facing. And when do we turn kids around?
We want to make sure that all children are at least 2 years of age, or that they've maxed out the weight on their previous car seat.
Is there also a height requirement too for turning them around?
There's
Or is
not
it
really
weight?
a height requirement, not really a weight requirement, but most car seats are going to go rear facing to around 30 pounds. So let's keep them rear facing as long as possible, protect the spine, the head, the neck. that rear facing is 5 times less likely to cause it. Yes.
And a lot of parents have questions about kids when they get taller because when they're turned around, their knees seem to be in their face and they have concerns about that. But any injury that happened from that is still not as great of a risk as the neck head injuries that might happen if they're forward facing too early.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so let's talk about different elements of this car seat, things parents need to keep in mind.
So the difference in a forward-facing car seat and a rear-facing lies largely in the harness use.
Okay.
We want this at or above her shoulder.
Okay.
And then we want the retainer clip right in the same place, the chest clip right here. We want this nice and snug, the buckle close to her body, so in a crash you're not sliding forward. It keeps you right nice and snug. The other element we're going to add forward-facing is the top tether. So everybody should use the top tether when your child is forward facing. It hooks somewhere in the back portion of this vehicle seat or the back window ledge. Very critical safety feature.
And what about the seat belt? The seat belt goes behind it as well. So
seat belt
with this
goes
type
behind
of car
it.
seat, you're using both, but not with the infant seat.
You're using a seat belt and a top tether.
Okay.
Or you're using lower anchors and a top tether.
Okay, got it. So just to clarify, perfect. We want to thank Lila for being our cute little model today.
Good job, Lila.
One of the most confusing things for parents is knowing when to move to stage 3 or booster seats. What's the minimum weight and height requirement for that?
Well, we want kids to be at least 40 pounds, at least 4 years of age. We're looking at psychological development, emotional development. Can they stay in that booster seat with the seat belt on, or do they still need the 5-point harness? Some car seats go to 65, 80 pounds with a harness. But if they're tall enough, we're now ready to go to stage 3, which is the booster seat.
Okay, so if we look at Bronson here, who's helping us out today, he's like 46.5-ish inches, weighs 46 pounds, so he's eligible for a booster, correct?
He is eligible for a booster, and we want to keep him there until he is 4 feet 9 inches tall. So he's got some growing to do.
He's got some time.
Yep, he can enjoy the booster seat.
It's pretty comfy too.
It is.
Can be. So Bronson meets the weight and height requirements for a booster seat. What are some things that parents should keep in mind when it comes to properly putting their kids in a booster seat?
First of all, we want to put kids in a booster seat, and it's not a baby seat. It's a big kid seat, and we should keep them in this much longer than most parents are doing. We want to make sure that this seat belt comes across the clavicle, the sternum, and down across the pelvis, because those are the bones, the bony structures that hold the body in place.
They'll take the impact.
They will take the impact.
Crash.
Exactly. And we want to make sure that this belt is underneath the arm, not over the top of it like this, but underneath the arm. And a lot of parents say, well, should I buy a booster with a back on it or a backless booster? And it really depends on if you have a head restraint in your vehicle.
Oh, okay.
I always like this side protection a little bit, and especially if your child's falling asleep in the car all the time.
They have something to rest their head on.
Yes. So those are the main things. We don't want kids to put this shoulder belt
Put their arm through
under.
it.
You know, you got all this stuff going on here, and if they take that and drop this arm, Bronson, can you bring your arm up through there? Yeah. Now, if we're this way, we have absolutely no upper body support. And so when that child wraps around the seatbelt, that can cause tremendous spine cord injuries.
Internal damage.
It can cause the head to hit the front of the seat. So we want this belt nice and low across the hips, and this right across the middle. That'll keep them safe for a long time.
We have Elena here to demonstrate stage 4, which is just a regular old seatbelt in the car. So what's the height requirement for that? When do you move them from booster to seatbelt?
We want to make sure that children are 57 inches tall, which is 4 feet 9 inches, and that's when seatbelts are manufactured to begin fitting people in the vehicle without any other restraints.
Raising them up to make sure it goes across their chest properly. Okay, Elena, do you want to hop on in and buckle your seatbelt for us?
A lot of people say, well, what is the law? The law is that children up to age 8 must be using a booster seat, but we know that that is not the safest mechanism for most people. If they're not 4 feet 9 inches tall, even if they're 8, keep them in the booster seat. It doesn't do any harm. They're going to be grown-ups for a long time if they make it there. So let's make it the safe
key. You
ride.
want them to be safe.
Sure.
Exactly right.
Look at that. Perfect fit, right across the clavicle, the sternum, down across the hip. This seat belt if you can see how that's kind of low on her pelvis, and it's that bony structure of her hips that will prevent that seatbelt from going through her soft abdominal tissues and keep her safe. And then the upper belt, the shoulder belt, keeps that body straight, because in a crash, this is going to lock, and she is well protected.
And parents, I know that my kids often, they want to fall asleep or slump over or take their arms out of it. So they always need to stay upright to be as safe as possible, right?
Yep, and legs down,
straight
and bent
out
over the seat. If we put our legs up underneath us, sit sideways, we've distorted the way the seatbelt's going to work.
Exactly. Thanks so much for your time today, Janet. We've covered a lot of different things, 4 different stages in life, all equally important. So I hope that all of this information has been helpful for you guys. And if you have more questions in the future, feel free to ask them on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Intermountain Moms.